All right, the good old quadratic word problem. So I'm being told a ball is kicked in the air with an initial velocity of 60 feet per second. The height of the ball can be modeled with the equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 60t, where height is measured in feet and time is measured in seconds. All right, so the question is, how much time does it take the ball to reach its maximum height? Well, how much time does it take to reach its maximum? So if we're looking at this, draw a little sketch, even though they didn't ask us to do this. Ball is kicked from the ground, all right? It's kicked from the ground. And it goes up and comes down. It reaches its maximum here. All right, we're looking for what is that time? What is that time right there? That can be found with an equation, right? Where it's t equals negative b over 2a. That can find us the axis of symmetry, all right? We're looking for the vertex, its maximum height. That's the first step to finding the vertex. So if we take the opposite of b, so negative 60, and divide it by 2a's, which is negative 16, we get t as negative 60 over negative 32. And that is about 1.9 seconds, 1.87. All right, 1.88. All right, so I would expect a full sentence from you, I'm being lazy. All right, it would take the ball 1.8 seconds or 1.9, about 2. All right, you can estimate here, but use the exact number when you plug it in for the height. All right, so about 2 seconds to reach its maximum height. What is the ball's maximum height? Well, if I know that's how much time it takes to get there, if I know how much time it takes, all right, I can plug it in for t and find what h is. So I'm going to go, what's the height when the time is 1.88? All right, plug it in, do the square first, so 1.88 squared. And then multiply it by negative 16. And you get negative 56.5504. And then you're going to multiply 60 times 0.88. 60 times, 1.88. And get 112.8. All right, if we add these together, we should get our maximum height. So the maximum height is about 56 feet. All right, so write that out. The maximum height the ball will reach is about 56 feet. Perfect. How long does it take the ball to reach the ground? Well, this is talking about when does the height equal 0. All right, when's the height of the ball 0? So let's plug in 0 for height. Let's plug in 0 for height. 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 60t. All right, I'm going to see if this is factorable. I'm going to see if I can pull out a 16, or what can I pull out of both of those? Does 60 divide by 16? No. So do they both divide by 4? Yeah. So I'm going to pull out a negative 4. So 0 equals, I'm going to pull out a negative 4t. Ooh, that's cool. And what am I going to be left with? Well, that's going to be 4t plus 15. All right, so I'm going to look up for when does the ball reach the ground. Now I can set these two equal to 0. Either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. Because something times something equals 0. One of those somethings has to be 0 in order for that to be true. 0 times any number is 0. It's the only way to get 0 by multiplying. All right, if one of those two factors is 0. So either t is 0, or 4t plus 15 is 0. I can add 15 to both sides. It should be a negative. When I divide out a negative there, I get a negative 15. So I can add 15 to both sides, and then divide by 4 and get t equals, what's 15 divided by 4? 3.75. Now, this is your answer. All right. The ball starts on the ground. So it takes 0 seconds for the ball to get to the ground because it's on the ground, right? So the ball's on the ground, so it takes 3.75 seconds for it to be kicked and then reach the ground again. At what times does the ball reach a height of 20 feet? This is the toughest one. This is when does h equal 20? So plug in 20 into your equation. All right. And I need this to equal 0. In order to solve this equation, we need it to equal 0. So I'm going to subtract 20 and get a new equation. We get that 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 60t minus 20. I'm going to try to factor it first. I like factoring more than the quadratic formula. So I'm going to pull out that negative 4. I see that negative 20 is also divisible by negative 4 again. So I'm going to factor out that negative 4. And what do we end up with? We end up with 4t squared plus 15t plus 5. All right, so I'm going to try to factor this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to factor it, and you try to factor it as well, and be right back with the video. So bummer. Turns out it doesn't factor. So all that work, not all for nothing. It's a good exercise, but that does mean we need to use the quadratic formula. So we get to do all that good stuff. You get to use x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Or you can use a graphing calculator, which I did. I used Desmos. Desmos is pretty freaking awesome. So I graphed our equation, negative 16x squared. Oh, I should get my face out of the way. Negative 16x squared plus 60x. And I said, when does the height, so that's the ball going up in the air, when does the height equal 20? And it turns out that at 0.37 seconds, the ball is at 20 feet, and at 3.34 seconds coming down, it's at 20 feet. So 0.37. So time equals 0.37, or time equals, what was it again? Memory is not what it used to be. 3.38 seconds. All right, so if you would have plugged in, negative 16 for A, and 60 for B, and negative 20 for C, you should have came up with these answers right here. All right. Good to end on an easy one. All right, what is the height of the ball 6 seconds after it was kicked? So what is the height? I don't know. After 6 seconds. So negative 16 times 6 squared plus 60 times 6. I have a feeling where this is going. What's the height of the ball after 6 seconds? I know what the height of the ball is after 6 seconds because I know how long it takes it to reach the ground. All right, think about that for a second. It takes only 3.75 seconds for it to reach the ground. So how high is the ball going to be? Another 2.25 seconds, another 2 seconds later, if it was already on the ground. All right, it's 0. The height is 0. It's on the ground. It's been there for a while. All right, but if you did this, you're going to get a negative answer. All right, so 6 squared is 36. And 36 times negative 16 is negative 576. And then what is 60 times 6? Plus 360. And that is... Okay, so mathematically that answer makes sense. All right, because the graph is going to go up and it's going to come down, right? It's going to go up and it's going to come down. But it's going to keep going down, 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 down. So after it reaches 0, at this amount of time, it's going to be Going down further, it's going to go through the ground. That doesn't make any sense. So in real life, what makes sense here is that the height of the ball is actually 0. It's on the ground. We already knew that. It's on the ground. All right, mathematically, this number makes sense. In real life, we can dismiss it because we know that's not happening in real life. All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed that.